Hi, welcome to the virtual orientation of our 2021 Autumn Ridge 20 FBS. We're going to start our tour on the outside of the trailer, and we're going to begin at the front. First thing we're going to talk about is your pass-through front storage compartment. There are a few items we need to talk about here, and we're going to start with the manual crank for your electric tongue jack. We also have the manual crank for your stabilization jacks. And you'll see if you have a drill or an impact with a quick connect, you can also use this for your stabilization jacks as well. Keeping with your stabilization jacks, there are 4 of them located at the 4 corners of the trailer. They should be used to stabilize the trailer, never to level. You should have the trailer mostly level. And then the stabilization jack should be used to just snug the trailer up to the ground. As we stand up here, we'll move around the front a little bit and we'll come to your solar ready pre-wired solar connection point. This connection point can be used in conjunction with ports on the roof of the trailer, as well as a location inside that is pre-wired for a full solar system to recharge your batteries. So as we move along the front, we're going to come to your battery storage of battery box. And right in front of this, we have your double 30-pound propane bottle system, complete with crossover regulator. Now what the crossover regulator does is whatever direction this handle is pointing in, so to this tank, that is the tank that the system will draw the propane from first. In the event that the pressure drops in the bottle below a predetermined amount, and that amount is predetermined internally by the regulator, and something that we can't adjust. But when this drops below a predetermined amount, the regulator automatically crosses over, regardless of which way this handle is pointing, and will draw from the other tank. So what that means, if you're camping on a cold night and you have your furnace running, you don't have to come outside and switch your bottles over. So directly in front of that, we have your electric tongue jack. Previously, when we were speaking about your front storage compartment, we made note of the manual crank. If you see here, we have this rubber port, easy to remove. That is where you would insert that manual crank to lower the tongue of the trailer, or raise the tongue of the trailer. We also have a nice tongue light. Very handy for doing any loading at night. And we'll drop down here again and we'll take a look at your safety breakaway switch. This loop end is attached to the tow vehicle. In the event that the RV is separated from the tow vehicle, this pin will be pulled and your trailer brakes will be activated. Now conversely, I have seen on a couple occasions that during your hitch up or your setup, the pin actually accidentally gets pulled, not all the way out, but enough to engage the brakes, and then you go to pull the trailer and obviously it doesn't pull right because your brakes are engaged. So if that ever happens, take a quick look back here, just make sure that isn't the problem. Alright, let's continue to move around the outside of the trailer. So we come to the off-door side of the front pass-through storage compartment. we'll notice we have storage for your 30 amp, 25-foot power cord. This is what you basically attach to your campground power. Next to that, we have supplied spray hose that can be used at your docking station, and I'll show you that in a couple minutes. So as we work our way around the outside of the trailer, the next thing we're going to come to would be the outlet for your black and gray water tanks. And along with that, we have the valves for your black and gray water tanks respectively. Standing up from here, we'll come to the docking station that I mentioned earlier. And this is where you can find the main inputs for the trailer. We have water input for your tank flush for your black water tank. We have the water input or inlet for your freshwater or city water connection. Right now you can see the valve handle is in the up and down or vertical position. That would indicate, as per the diagram here, that you are on city water. What that means, you plug the garden hose from the campground, from your house, into the inlet, have the handle arranged in that fashion. It will pressurize your system and you can use the water within the trailer as though you were at home in your own house. Turn the handle to this position, attach your garden hose from your house or campground to the inlet with the handle in this position, and now you will be filling your freshwater tank. Before, we had mentioned the spray nozzle. This outside tap has a quick connect that can be utilized with the spray nozzle that I showed you in the front storage compartment. The last thing we want to note in this area would be the main input for your cable or satellite for the entire trailer. Okay, as we continue along, we come to the 30 amp power input for the trailer. This is where you'd attach the cord that I showed you earlier, and then the other end would go to your campground or house power. As we come around the back of the trailer, and we'll look up, and we'll see a housing for a camera body for a rear view camera. Now this rear view camera is not included with the trailer, but it can be purchased separately. The rear view camera comes with a head unit that you'd use for viewing inside the vehicle, giving you the ability to see behind your RV as you're driving down the road. Also on the back of this trailer, we have the outside access to your hot water tank. Specifically, there are a few things to note. One being your pressure relief valve, two being your drain plug and anode rod. This is designed to work with your drain plug in that you must or should engage the pressure relief valve prior to attempting to remove the drain plug when the system is pressurized. If you don't, the pressure will shoot that plug out of there like a rocket. Then the last thing we want to touch on while in the outside access point for your hot water tank is the reset. Right above the outside access to your hot water tank is the venting for your refrigerator. It's It's important that this remains free of any obstruction at all times, as the venting is needed for your refrigerator to function properly. So we continue along to the door side or awning side of your trailer. Take note of your awning, and at either end and ahead of the awning, we have speakers on either end. Those speakers can be used with the stereo inside your RV. Also under your awning, we have 120 volt power supply. We have the inlet for your freshwater or potable water tank. You can fill it via the docking station that I showed you earlier, or you can still just put your garden hose right in there and fill her up. Then the last thing I'd like to make note of is the exhaust for your furnace. Now it does tell you that it is hot right on the exhaust. However, because it's under your awning and there's a bigger chance of coming in contact with it, I'd like to make special note that it does in fact get pretty warm. Alright, let's go back to your door and we'll step inside and take a look at what we have inside. First thing we notice, if we turn around and face the door, is the unit fire extinguisher. And next to that, we have the carbon monoxide propane detector. There's a button on the front that you can press to test the unit. You'll hear a series of loud beeps, the light will flash, and then it'll return to green. When it returns to green and there's no more noises coming from it, that's your indication that the system is functioning properly and it is ready to monitor for any sort of alarm. Now, if we turn to our right, we will come to the power center or load center for the RV. We'll notice that we have your breakers like you might find in your house, and they function much the same way. And we have your fuses like you might see in your automobile. Those fuses, they do have a little LED light down the side, so if one of them is burnt out or the circuit itself for whatever reason isn't functioning properly, you will see a light down here that lights up to indicate that. Alright, so just inside the door is your refrigerator. It's pretty straightforward, but we'll go into detail on just a couple of features here. It is capable of operating in an auto or a gas mode. Gas mode is just uses the propane system on the tongue of the trailer. When on the gas system, it is not unheard of for it to attempt to light and not be able to light on the first try. Generally, this is caused by, and if that does happen, you will see this originally, and if it's unable to light, it makes an attempt 3 times, and then stops. If that happens, turn it off, wait for a couple minutes, go do something else, then come back, light the fridge. I think oftentimes people want to come and get their fridge going as soon as they can. They want to get their food cold or make sure it stays cold if they didn't have the fridge on already. See, there we go. You'll see it's flashing. That's because I don't have the gas turned on. So it tried to light 3 times and now it does this. So just turn it off, wait for a couple minutes, go outside, make sure the bottles are open. If they are open, just give it a couple minutes. Often it's either you haven't opened the valves or the pressure just hasn't built up enough within the system for it to give you enough gas to actually light the stove. And then the other way you can use this is an auto setting, which will automatically select between gas or electric, using electric power first or primarily if it's available. Excuse me. So as we come into the rest of the trailer here, we will notice that you have a smoke detector. It's important that we make sure these are functioning properly. As with the carbon monoxide propane detector, there is a button on the bottom of it that you can press to make sure it's functioning right. What I would usually suggest is every 6 months or so. Daylight savings time is the easiest way to remember. Change the batteries in your smoke detector and test your carbon monoxide propane alarm. That way it's easy to remember. Every 6 months when you change the time, you simply test both the smoke detector and the carbon monoxide propane alarm. So we're going to turn around here, and behind us we'll notice the thermostat for the unit. It's very straightforward. When it's pushed all the way over to the right, the system is off. To turn the system on, you hear that click. We click it over. I'm going to turn it off so I don't have to talk over a fan the whole time. Click it over. That's how you turn the system on, and then underneath there's the little slider that you slide back and forth to adjust the temperature. Step into the bathroom. And this is where, other than your shower and toilet and all that good stuff, you will find the unit GFCI. So you'll see we have 2 buttons here. If we press the red one, what that does is test the GFCI plug. It'll trip it. And I did that just to show you that when it is tripped, it has a red light on it. When you press the reset, the red light goes away. So if this plug and everything it is associated with it, or is a load on the plug, if this red light is on, none of those receptacles will work. So in the RV, we're talking generally speaking, your counter plug, any outside plugs. If this GFCI gets tripped, or if this red light is on, then those plugs will most likely not work. So if you find that is the case, come into the bathroom, take a look and see if that might be it. If that isn't it, then you have the second option of taking a look at your load center or power center and seeing if it is perhaps one of the breakers. Okay, back our way out of the bathroom here, turn around, come take a look at your range top. Your range top has 3 burners, and then there's an oven underneath. They're all lit in a very similar fashion, with the exception of the oven part. So to light the individual burners, we'll turn the light off the camera first so you can actually see what I'm trying to show you. You turn it to the light position, turn the sparker, and then we have propane. We have fire. Same goes for each individual burner. Now in order to light the oven, same thing, turn it to the light position, and you'll want to turn the sparker. The only difference we do is you have to press and hold the button in, or the knob in, while you turn the sparker. It's pressing and holding the knob in is what releases the gas. Next, I'll show you the TV. I'd mentioned before that you could use your stereo inside or radio inside to play music outside on the awning speakers. And in this particular unit, this is where you would do so. The TV in this case doubles as the stereo or radio, as well as your TV. It does come with Bluetooth technology, HDMI compatibility, auxiliary compatibility, as well as a USB port. Now, in order to listen to listen to music on the radio using this, or on the speakers outside using the radio or stereo feature on this TV, you can utilize this remote here. I'm not going to go into super detail because it's really hard to show you everything here, but basically the system comes in two zones. We have, you can look at it as A and B, which it does label it. I'll try to maybe shed some light on the situation, see if that helps. No, that makes it worse. So just forget I did that. Anyhow, we have a zone A is the red and zone B is the green. So this is how you would adjust volume for zone A and zone B. However, what you need to do first is switch from zone A to zone B via this or this button here. Once you've done that, if you press zone B here, then you'll be able to control zone B volume here. And similarly, if you press zone A here, you'll be able to control zone A volume, or turn the zones on and off. Okay, now also just below the TV, I wanted to make special note that this RV does come with USB charging ports. Very handy if you need to plug your cell phones in. And since we're talking about USB charging capabilities, let's pan over here and we'll take a look right beside the bed. We'll also see that there are USB charging ports. And while we're on this side of the bed, I would like to just make special mention of your emergency exit. In order to utilize the emergency exit, you push down on the black tab, push the red handle over and out. You'll see it flips right out. You push the handle all the way outside of the RV. Once it's out, you grab this tab, pull the screen out, and you can escape to safety. So one of the last things we have yet to talk about will be your RV AC unit. It is mounted on the ceiling here, and all the controls are also on the ceiling. You can control the amount of air that comes out of the unit by opening or closing these baffles, wider, smaller. Also, you can control the fan here and the temperature here. As you can also see, to give you extra room, the dining room table is removable, or you could also remove it from the trailer altogether and use it outside underneath your awning. Well, it's your table, you could use it wherever you wanted, but those are a couple suggestions I would have. If there is something we didn't cover or a question that you have after listening to the video, you can give us a call and we'd be happy to do our best to answer all your questions. Thank you.